Welcome back to the Talk to Me Nice podcast, where we talk soft, talk real, and sometimes we don't talk at all. I'm your host, Queenie Renee, and today I got to keep it a little personal. This episode is for the ones who go ghost, not to be toxic, not to push anybody away, but because sometimes the only way to protect your peace is to disappear for a minute. And listen, I know the guilt. I know what it feels like to leave texts unread, miss calls, and silently slip away. And I know what it feels like to be on the other side of that too, wondering why someone you love went quiet. But sometimes the silence isn't shade, it's survival. So if you've ever had to recharge in isolation, or you felt misunderstood for needing space, this one's for you. Let's talk about why going ghost isn't always personal, but sometimes it's absolutely necessary. But before we talk about the deeper stuff, I think we gotta start with the truth a lot of us avoid, and that's being honest about why we go ghost in the first place. Let's be clear. Going ghost doesn't always mean something is wrong between you and the people you love. Sometimes it's just everything. The work stress, the family pressure, the group chat won't stop, the emotional labor of trying to hold everything together for everybody. Sometimes you're just done. No beef, no drama, just done. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're not acting funny, you're not being shady, you're exhausted, and that's valid. And here's the part that gets tricky. It's one thing to be tired, but it's another thing when people start to feel a way about it. Like your silence is a personal attack, when really it's just a survival strategy. We've all had people feel a way about us pulling back. You don't hit me up anymore. You acting weird. Or my personal favorite. So you just going ghost? And listen, I get it. But love doesn't always come with 24/7 access. And if you've ever had to go silent on someone you love, you know it's not because you stopped caring. It's because you're running on E. It's possible to love people and still not have the capacity to show up the way they want. And the real ones, they won't take it personal. They'll get it. They'll give you space and grace. So let me ask you, what do you do when you need to disappear? Like, how do you go ghost without turning it into a whole fallout or being seen as disrespectful? This next part is where communication comes in, even when you don't feel like saying much. Let's talk about communication real quick, because ghosting doesn't have to be disrespectful. Here's a few ways that I've learned to set boundaries without burning bridges, like a simple text saying, "Hey, I'm feeling mentally drained. I need a few days to regroup. It's not you. I just don't have the energy right now." Or, "I might be slow to respond this week, just trying to protect my peace. And then when I come back, my bad for going quiet. I just needed to reset. It's nothing personal." Or, "I missed you. I just needed time to come back to myself." You're allowed to disappear without it being forever. And sometimes it is a long time because it takes time to do the work. It takes time to regroup. It takes time to regather your thoughts and rebalance your life. So don't feel bad for that. Time will pass, but like I said, the real ones will understand. Now, let's talk about something I wish we were all taught growing up, something I call budgeting 101. And that's how to budget your energy. We talk about money and relationships, time, but nobody teaches you how to protect your capacity. So let's get into that. Let's be real. We all got an emotional budget, and some days the bank is in overdraft. You can't give energy to your job, your group chat, your friends, your family, your partner, your sneaky link, and your therapist, and still have something left for yourself. Something's got to give. So, this is your permission to say, "Not today," to say, "I don't have time right now," or to say, "I'll get back to you when I can be fully present." Boundaries are not selfish, they're survival. Before I move on, I want to slow it down real quick, because sometimes the only way I can express how I feel is through something a little softer. Something like this. Don't take my silence personally. I'm just in a season where noise feels like pressure and peace is my only real currency. I still love you. I still care. But I can't keep showing up in spaces that require me to be more available than I truly am. If I'm quiet, I'm healing. If I'm distant, I'm resting. If I disappear, it's not to run, it's to return better. And y'all know I had to ask the people because I knew I wasn't the only one who feels this way. So I asked y'all on Instagram, what's really behind your ghosting moments? And baby, the responses were real. First one we got said, when I peep the shift in the energy, I'm out. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that a lot because when people switch up, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I think y'all understand that. And then the second response was when I feel like I'm the only one reaching out. That happens a lot too. But at the same time, life happens. And just like I'm telling y'all about this in this whole episode, that people just be living and trying to rebalance. So I don't know about that one for real. Another person said, because y'all don't give a safe space for energy for real. And I have never felt that more than anything. It has to be a safe space to communicate. There has to be a safe space to be vulnerable. There has to be a safe space. I felt that, okay? Another person said, if my social battery's dead, everybody's get irked. Hey, I feel you because I get overstimulated easy too. Let's see. The minute I start feeling like a burden, poof. True. Yeah. Because you don't want to stick around where you're not wanted. So yeah, I feel you. When I realize we're not even that cool for me to be explaining myself, now that's tea. That's tea for real. It's time to go. And another one said, when I get overwhelmed, I vanish like Houdini. I'm out of here. I feel you. I feel you. I low key be ghosting on accident because I just be tired. So I feel you 100%. But the last one we got here says, I ghost when I lose interest and don't know how to say it. Now that's a little shady because we got to learn how to communicate. We too big. At this big age, we should know. We got to communicate. Thank you for y'all's responses. This was fun. Y'all really get it. And for the ones out there who's beating themselves up about pulling back, just know you're not alone. We got you. Yeah, I thought I was alone with some of those feelings, but clearly we all be disappearing when the vibes off, when we're overwhelmed, or when we just need to protect our peace. And I don't even blame us. Sometimes ghosting ain't even about the other person. It's about us needing to reset, a breather, and needing a boundary. Oh, that's really it. A boundary is it. But let's really talk about it. Is ghosting always justified, or are there some times when we just start avoiding the hard conversation? Let's unpack that. Let's get into something real. Like, are we ghosting because we're setting boundaries? Or are we ghosting because we're scared to communicate? You ever hit someone with the silent treatment, not because they did something wild, but because you didn't know how to say what was really on your mind? Yeah, that part. Let's be honest. Sometimes ghosting is protection. It's guarding your peace and your sanity, your emotional energy. But other times it's avoidance dressed up as self care. We know that. We got to be honest about it. There's a fine line between protecting your space and just emotionally shutting down. So ask yourself, am I leaving this situation for my well being? Or am I ghosting because it's easier than saying how I feel? Ghosting isn't always toxic, y'all. But it's not always healing either. Let's call it what it is. Sometimes we're just scared of confrontation, scared of vulnerability, or scared of looking too emotional. And that fear, that right there, it'll have us ghost to people who probably didn't even deserve the silence. So now let's play a little game. I call this one talk or vanish. I'm going to throw out some situations and you tell me, would you have the convo or would you disappear like you never existed? DM me your answers or drop a comment, and I might read some on the next episode. But I'll go first. So the first scenario is they keep canceling plans last minute with weak excuses. Am I talking or vanishing? Hmm. I think I'll say something about it. So I would say we talking about it. Because don't waste my time. My time is just as valuable as yours, okay? The next one we got, you caught feelings, but you're not sure they feel the same. Definitely talk about that. I have vanished in the past from running away because you were scared of the feelings, and sometimes those feelings come too fast, too quick. So I have vanished in the past. I can't lie to y'all. But at this big age, it's definitely a talking situation because we can't be scared to get our feelings hurt. That's life. You know what I'm saying? So definitely talk about it. Let's see. They crossed the boundary that you never made clear. I think yeah, talk about that too, because you need your boundaries respected, and if you haven't made it clear, then you can't really be mad that they crossed it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, talk about it. And lastly, you realize the problem was you. Do you talk or you vanish? I think I'm gonna vanish on that one because sometimes I be the problem, and I would just be a little petty and say I'm a vanish. So yeah, let's not act like we ain't been all five of those situations. We have. Hold on now, because we gotta flip the script. We gotta talk about when you're the one who gets ghosted. And let's not lie, getting ghosted low key hurts. I know, especially when you thought everything was cool. Then there's no warning, no closure, just radio silence. It can leave you spiraling, questioning your words, replying to combos in your head like, was it something I said? But let's reframe that. Sometimes the ghosting ain't about you at all. Some people just don't know how to handle confrontation. Some people weren't ready for the energy you brought, and some just weren't built to stay. And that silence was their closure. Doesn't mean you didn't deserve an explanation, because sometimes we do. Doesn't mean your feelings weren't valid. They definitely are. But it does mean stop taking someone's cowardness as a reflection of your value. You know what I'm saying? Let's think about it. The last time you were ghosted, how did it make you feel? And more importantly, what did it teach you about your needs and communication and connection? Yeah, that truth hurts, don't it? But we're going to get a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about the different kinds of ghosting. When God, the universe, or whatever you believe in feels silent. Sometimes it's not people going ghost, it's life. You ever feel like you're praying, manifesting, journaling, doing all the right things, but nothing's moving? It's like the world went silent and forgot about you. Like, nah, don't go on D&D now and forget to text back. But listen, silence doesn't always mean abandonment. Sometimes it means alignment. Delays, detours, disconnections, they're all protection in disguise. That spiritual ghosting is often a pause before the pivot, the growth behind the scenes. The next time you feel like the universe is leaving you on red, maybe it's just setting you up for something better than what you're asking for. You gotta remember that. And we gotta stop thinking that ghosting is the cleanest way to leave. Sometimes the silence says more than you think, and it lingers. Unspoken goodbyes leave unfinished chapters. And what do we do when we don't have closure? We make up our own stories, we villainize, we romanticize, and we spiral. If you care about someone, even just as a human being, sometimes a simple text can go a long way. You don't need to explain your whole soul, but a hey, I'm not in a space to continue this right now. Wishing you well goes way further than the disappearing act. And I know y'all feel me right now. Because guess what? That silence, it says you didn't matter enough for a goodbye. And I don't think that's how most of us really feel. So let's be more mindful of our exits. You can protect your peace without leaving people confused in the dark. Let's break up all the deep reflection with the story time. Okay, so boom. Let me tell you about a time I tried to go somebody and the universe said, nah, run that back. So there was this guy, right? He was real sweet, real consistent, but something in me just wasn't feeling it. I don't even know why though. He didn't do anything wrong. I just slowly stopped replying. Like the type of ghosting where you start with LOL instead of a real answer. Then it turns into my bad, I forgot to text back. And the next thing you know, you're full Casper. I thought I had pulled off a clean escape until I ran into him in public at the most inconvenient, unflattering, I was not supposed to be there moment ever. I'm talking about a bonnet on, ashy knees, looking like I just clocked out of a nap. And of course, he saw me first and had the audacity to be like, oh, so you are alive. Y'all, I wanted the ground to swallow me whole, okay? I just hit on with, hey, stranger. Like, I was the one who got ghosted. But the moral of the story is if you're going to go ghost, don't do it in your own city. Or at least make sure your edges are laid when the karma spins the block, okay? You ever ghosted somebody or get ghosted, and then boom, here they come months later talking about, hey, stranger, reacting to your story like nothing ever happened. Let's play a game today. Again. I'm going to read some typical ghost reappearance messages, and you decide reply or leave them in the dead zone. First, we have, "Hey, big head, you replying to that, or y'all leaving it to the dead zone?" I think I'm gonna reply because I'm curious. I'll be too damn nosy. That's my problem. The just thinking about you, hope you're good. Those I leave undelivered because you want something. So just say what it is. I miss our vibe. I think leaving that undelivered as well. Dead zone out of here. Or I saw something that reminded me of you. I might reply to that. I might. And I say that because, again, I'm curious and nosy and want to know. Um, Sends a reel with no context, definitely leave them in the dead zone. The "you still mad at me?" Yeah, I'm leaving that in the dead zone too. "We should catch up soon." I might reply to that. It seems innocent enough. And "damn, I fumbled you, huh?" Definitely replying that because any chance to gloat and be petty, I'm taking it. Don't judge me. Okay, friends. So what do we do with all this? How do we keep showing up for each other when people start disappearing? Not because they don't love us, but because they're struggling to show up for themselves. It starts with grace and maybe just checking in without expecting too much. Look, everybody doesn't know how to say "I'm not okay." Some of us shut down, some of us overwork, some of us isolate. I, for one, isolate. So, if someone's been quiet, don't take it personal. Send the text, leave the voice note, shoot the "I'm just thinking about you" message, but leave no pressure, no expectation. Just give them love because sometimes the softest thing you can offer someone is understanding. But before we close out, I want to leave you with this, a reminder for those quiet seasons and the times you need to disconnect. For when you don't know how to explain your silence, but you still want to be understood. Let's end with this. I honor the silence I need. I'm not wrong for disappearing. I deserve relationships that don't require consistent presence to prove love. So that's all for today, friends. I'm your host, Queenie Renee, your favorite voice note friend. Take the time you need. Say less if you need to, and come back when you're ready. And when you do come back soft, come back honest, and come back whole. Until next time, talk to yourself nice, and everyone else will adjust.